I love the way that they go through the turns and really don't lose much speed at all.
Yeah,
4 miles an hour.
I was doing this before. I don't like the way they're all jumping around out there. Makes you nervous when you see those trucks bouncing all over the place, but that's sort of part of the world here at Daytona. If your truck isn't bouncing around, somebody will hit you and make it bounce around.
Michael, you know this better than anyone, but that rear spoiler gives you a lot more downforce, should give you a little more handling. Obviously, you had some way to figure out how to drop the rear spoiler on the last lap and probably didn't have as good a handling there when you came for the win.
Yeah, the spoilers are an important part of this gig for sure.
And you knew that all too well.
What was he implying there?
I don't know.
There was no. I wasn't implying anything.
Oh, look, this is always trouble when you get a slow truck and these guys have to go 3 wide. They're used to running around 2 side by side, and when you got to go 3, look at all moving around. Oh, and there
right
goes.
there.
Paulie Haraka got sideways and took Jason Leffler right with him.
Dakota Armstrong, the 98 trucks into the outside wall. A lot of trucks coming down pit road to avoid that incident.
Dakota just had minor damage there.
Yep, coming out of turn number 4, Jason Leffler caught up in it in the 18. But coming out of turn number 4, a little bit loose. Early on, we saw it was the 5 of Paulie Haraka. There's the damage to that race truck.
Anytime something's different, Rick, something happens that messes up your rhythm, then you run the risk of having this happen. That's exactly what the slower truck didn't do anything wrong. He was getting up to speed right on the bottom. These guys came upon him, had to start making some evasive moves, and when you exit forward, that's not the place to be making an evasive move.
See Chris Cockerman in the 93. You see Brennan able to get by. Justin Lofton able to get by. Watch Paulie Haraka. He gets a little bit loose there, even before he got to that truck.
Yeah, it looked like he maybe went up the hill because of the slower truck and then went to go back down a little bit because he didn't want to crowd Leffler, and that got him sideways. These things turn around so quickly. Paulie's not used to this stuff. He's used to racing on short tracks. This is all new to him, and that thing just hopped around on him. And unfortunately, took a guy that I thought might could have won the race tonight, and Jason Leffler with him.
Jason looked awfully good in practice yesterday. Did a lot of pushing around. Here's another view. You see Paulie get sideways. He makes contact with that lap truck on the inside and then forces Jason Leffler into the outside wall. Watch these trucks do such a great job of avoiding. There's Austin Dillon also going down pit road to avoid this incident.
And Dakota Armstrong was all over the place. He just barely bumped the wall. I think he's going to be just fine.
Austin Dillon was watching his brother Ty Dillon fly down pit road.
I knew I was going to make that mistake.
Watch this move. And look at Jason Leffler. Sometimes wrecks are just unavoidable. And that was okay. Watch this 98 truck of Dakota Armstrong. He's sideways. Okay, I'm going the right way again.
And
oh, there's the wall.
The wall there just before the start-finish line.
That won't hurt him, though. That truck will be fine.
Coming out of turn 4, here's the incident.
Let's take a look at this incident from Ty's truck. Watch him now. He's going to see the smoke and everything in front of him. The spotter's going to tell him off the throttle instantly. And he sees the racetrack blocked. He's got a perfectly wide pit road to go down.
It's a good feeling when you look up ahead and there's pit road there. Watch Johnny Sauter. Let's see where he goes. You could see his teammate, Dakota Armstrong.
Come on down pit road. Reduce your speed. You're clear of the accident. Reduce your speed. You got one about 3.
The rookie overreacted, Phil. He saw that truck spinning and he jerked his truck and that spun him around. The veteran just backed off the gas and made his way down pit road. So that's a great example of somebody that's done this a while and somebody that hasn't.
And that's why Johnny's been up in points 6th and 3rd and 2nd the 3 years he's run full time in this series.
So the 5 of Paulie Haraka will make his way back around and onto pit road to the attention of his team. Stay with us.
It's getting on down here, boys. Starting to make some decisions. One more pit stop. Run this thing to the finish.
We're getting close now to being in that window. Maybe just a handful of laps, maybe 2 or 3 laps, and I think most people would be comfortable coming in and being done if the caution were to come out.
Nelson Piquet Jr. flew to the back as soon as they threw the green flag, and he hadn't been able to get his way to the front yet, and he's trying 3 wide on the outside there to do so.
How about Brennan going through the middle there? And
oh, sideways. Got to crash in the front.
33 of Cale Gale into the wall. It looks as though he collected the 8 of Mike Skinner as well. Damage to both of those trucks.
Big damage.
Also involved, the 07 of TJ Duke. He slides in front of another truck, gets caught up.
Talked about how hard it is sometimes to get through that tri-oval, and that's exactly what happened there. Those guys somehow got sideways.
Those teammates, Cale Gill and Mike Skinner, we were just talking about Eddie Sharp Racing.
That's his worst nightmare, isn't it, Phil?
Sure is.
Matt Crafton down on the apron From that side, didn't look bad.
Well, from that side it does.
Yeah, a lot of damage to T.J. Duke's truck.
Mike Skinner. Look at the front of that race truck.
Yeah.
Mike talked about how the community here in Daytona rallied around him, gave him the opportunity, he and Angie the opportunity to run this race, and to have it all taken away in a crash when he ran so strong all night long.
See if we can take a look at what happens here.
Oh, Enfinger moves up a little bit. Is that right?
Looked like was that Enfinger or was that Clay Greenfield? And the other red truck, number 68.
One of the red truck moved up, and Cale Gale was there. It bounced Cale sideways. Got some trucks coming to pit roads.
Take another look. Real time as they're coming into the tri-oval. It's the 7.
It's the 7 of John King. Another one of the red trucks that moved up the racetrack into Cale Gale.
Look at Matt Crafton sliding sideways. Trucks crashing behind him. Three wide is tough in the tri-oval, even when people don't move around, Phil. And
Yeah.
that was an example of it. The 7 truck came up. Matt Crafton run over the orange cone.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has any damage. I think the orange cone is the only thing he ran into.
Sorry about that orange cone.
That was Clay Greenfield right behind that 7 truck of John King. Tough break for Eddie Sharp Racing, losing 2 of his 3 trucks.
Look at that. He just moved way up.
Go 2 wide. Go low, low, low. Hold your line. Hold your line. Come on through here.
Nothing Cale Gale could have done there. There's no way for him to predict. Look, they're 3 wide anyway, and watch. That 7 truck comes right up.
Do you think he was maybe trying to get to the middle? I don't know why he would. He was doing a great job staying on the bottom.
It's unfortunate for this guy. See Mike there.
Mike's got his helmet off. He's saying, push me. Get me back into the garage.
Good to see Cale out of that truck as well. We'll be all year. Cale Gale in that Ream Chevrolet.
4th caution has come out. 3 trucks caught up in this most recent incident. In the middle, Cale Gale, the most wild ride.
Remember, I did an earlier report saying Johnny Sauter trying to learn patience early in the race. That patience is paying off. Right now, he said he's holding it wide open, or at least trying to. He restarted 15th, has moved all the way up into the top 10. Top 5 currently running 4th. He's talking about running with Jason White. He says, get outside. Here I come.
They're dead even right now for the lead.
Here comes Todd Bodine on the outside, too, making it 3 wide back there, about 6 rows back of 2x2. But side by side, coming at it, number 2. Around goes the 32 and hard into the wall. Miguel Paludo hard into the wall, coming out of turn number 4.
Very reminiscent of Danica's accident in the duel.
Caution comes out for the 5th time. Miguel Paludo running in the top 3. Slides coming out of turn number 4, and then a head-in collision with the inside wall. And what a great sign to see that window net go down, as the safety crew will get to him immediately.
Wonder if he got a little bit of nudge from behind from his teammate James Busher. Everyone was trying so hard on the inside to keep that outside line from coming. Let's see if we see any contact here.
He's the second car on the second truck on the inside line.
Wow, maybe he let off the. Maybe he made an evasive action there because of PK Jr.
Wow,
Look at the violence.
What an impact.
How violent that was.
That truck weighs 3,700 pounds, and it flies up in the air like that and catches on fire, and yet.
And we saw how quickly Miguel Paludo had put the window net down, was taking his helmet off. Amazing.
I think he got in the back of Nelson Piquet Jr. and when he did, that slowed his momentum, and that's, I think, James Busher got into him. Watch this now.
Look.
It's hard to see. You can see right there.
You could see Piquet get a little bit sideways. That's real-time speed right there.
But I don't know if those trucks make high. I know Piquet got sideways, and then all of a sudden Paludo gets sideways, and these trucks handle well enough. It's hard to understand how this could have happened.
Watch how close now Paludo gets to Piquet. I
think he just made I think the leader just got loose, and And Paludo just made an evasive, a bit of a quick move, and he lost his truck maybe.
I think there was contact. Let's see.
Riding along with Ron Hornaday now.
Watch the leader get sideways.
You're right. I don't think there was any contact from front or behind.
And I think Miguel just said, oh, no, where's he going? And you remember earlier when Paulie Haraka, right there off turn 4, where the track flattens out. You're going very fast there. The banking goes away, and the trucks are light there. The back end is light. He makes a move because he sees his teammate a little bit sideways, and into the inside wall he goes.
That truck spins 360 degrees in the air before coming back down on its wheels. And how about this? Miguel Paludo climbing out of that truck and will walk, wave to the fans, walk to the ambulance after such an amazingly hard hit to the inside wall.
Makes you want to go hug NASCAR, Tony George, whoever all came up with these safer barriers, Dr. Sicking.
Yeah, folks at the University of Nebraska using a lot of their technology.
Could you even imagine hitting that without that safer barrier there?
University of Nebraska was one of the front runners in guardrail technology that you see on the highways, and NASCAR went to them about the safer barriers, and that really is what made Miguel Paludo able to walk to the ambulance after getting out of that truck. Right?
James Busher came on and driving that AccuDoc Chevrolet said, I did not touch him. Make sure he understands that. He said the weird part was it looked like the rear wheels came clear up off the ground, and he said I had 1.5 feet between him. So it was very strange whatever happened to that truck. Hermie?
Jason White holding his line on the inside, trying to make that truck as wide as possible so that outside line can't get by.
See, Ron Hornaday has to be careful pushing Johnny Sauter. He can't push him into Jason White.
And that's why his brakes are going. How about Daytona needing brakes? Who would have thought it? But Ron Hornaday's all over the brakes, managing.
You into 13 are clear.
How about John King right now running 4th in line on the inside in front of his teammate Todd Bodine?
Todd Bodine was relegated all the way to the back of that lead pack when he got shucked out of the groove. But now he's fought his way up toward the top 5.
Another one drifting back, that yellow truck of Matt Crafton in the 88. He's on the outside of 3 wide at the back of this pack.
He's back there with Ty Dillon. It's
dicing and dancing down the backstretch, trying to find position, trying to find an open lane. 3 wide as they go into turn number 3.
Got Hornaday and the 2 of Brendan Gaughan hooked up now.
Oh, sliding. The 29 is going to go around as well as the 81. David Starr goes to the inside.
Hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake.
We saw Parker Kligerman in the
damage, not too bad.
29 sliding early in this one. The caution will come out once again, the 6th time tonight. Also involved Ross Chastain in the 08, as well as Brian Silas in that 99.
I just didn't see how we could get to the end without having something like this happen.
There was no way. Now what do we do at the front? Jason White's leading. His pusher is going to be on the outside. I think Johnny Sauter is now in trouble. I think John King closes right back up to the back of Jason White, and John King is good enough to push Jason. I think Johnny's in trouble.
Parker Kligerman, left front damage on that 29. The 81 of David Starr also went around. He's going to have some damage.
If our scoring monitor is correct, Johnny Sauter's going to have Ron Hornaday behind him. He knows how to push. He pushed for the entire race at Talladega last October.
When the caution came out, we had 6 laps of racing to go.
Looked like Dusty Davis came down to the middle. Parker Kligerman on the 29 had committed to the middle, and then Dusty Davis moved down the hill.
Look at the job Ty Dillon does, barely squeaking by Brian Silas.
Rick Crawford back there as well in the 73, sneaking through that incident. Here, watch the 3 of Ty Dillon in the middle.
I don't think Parker Kligerman had any idea Dusty Davis was going to make that move. And watch Ty Dillon, barely misses Kligerman, barely misses Silas.
An incredible job.
How close was it for Ty Dillon? Let's ride along and see.
Trying to build, clear high, clear high. Bottom lane, middle lane's rolling here. 4 wide ahead of you. Be easy, be easy.
1,
check up, check up, check up.
2.
Come on, watch out. Get down, get down, get down, get down. Check up, check up. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
We missed 3 trucks there, Phil.
Yeah, it sounded like Billy O'Day, Kevin Harvick's spot for Ty.
He sounded like an auctioneer there for a while. Check up, check up, check up. Low, low, low.
But we heard that Kevin Hamlin was spotting one of RCR's spotters.
Pace car, hard left turn. Field in the hands of Jason White coming into the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air. Green-white checkered for the trucks to start off 2012.
How about Mr. Restart, Ron Hornaday? We know he knows when to go, and he's got a hold to Johnny Sauter right now, and he's going to push Johnny Sauter ahead of Jason White.
We know how Ron Hornaday knows how to push. He pushed Mike Wallace to the win at Talladega. Jason White's fighting back on the bottom.
Those two are locked up on the high side. Can Johnny Sauter move down? He does. He moves in front of Jason White. He'll take the top spot now as they go down the backstretch. Less than 2 laps to go at Daytona.
If I'm Jason White, I get a hold of Johnny Sauter here and try to push him home. Temperatures won't matter anymore. He can shove him all the way to the checkered.
We heard James Busher say earlier, I don't want to be leading when we come down to the final lap. I want to be second. I think that's the best place to be.
How about Rick Crawford going up through the
They're not going to make it.
Contact and into the wall. The 19 goes around. That's Brad Keselowski. Flying through the tri-oval once again as the caution comes out. They did not receive the white flag. We will have another green-white checker.
Who was running second? Who was running third?
Johnny Sauter was leading when the caution came out. Ron Hornaday actually beat him to the line, but Johnny Sauter was running ahead of Ron Hornaday when the caution came out.
The question is, who was second? Who was third? How are they going to line up on this restart? And NASCAR will use cameras to figure out where to put them. They'll use the scoring loops. So right now we don't really know what the lineup is for the restart.
Right now they're going to use the scoring loops to reset them. They do use the cameras on the very last lap to determine positions after the race is won. They're going to use those loops. Look at all the damage to Rick Crawford. He was making that move up to the front. We also saw a lot of damage to the 24 of Max Gresham.
Yeah, the 19 of Brad Keselowski. That's the first truck I saw sideways was a 19 of Brad Keselowski. You see, Brad, there's a 19 there. He's pushing the 31 of Busher. There's Clay Greenfield.
Clay Greenfield just turns him around.
Gets him into this left rear quarter panel, turns him right in front of Rick Crawford. Then they catch Max Gresham up against the outside wall.
Guys, now fuel is going to become a real concern if these guys were about to run out a minute ago.
Ty Dillon does an excellent job. Again, watch Ty Dillon here.
Clear to the middle behind the 73, outside now, bottom of 3. Bottom of 3, hold on, you got crash in front of you. Check up, check up, check up.
Got in the back of Ryan Siegel a little bit.
Come on, stay back.
But kept that truck straight. That's the important thing.
Could be some real damage to the grill of that truck, though. Looks like it's all right, Phil, as he drives off.
Yeah.
From the super speedway to the short track. That's right, Martinsville, our second stop for the Camping World Truck Series. The guy out front, the 23 of Jason White. What's happening with him, Ray?
Very close on fuel. His new crew chief, Doug George, has been saying, save me every little bit you can. We go green-white checkered here. Hopefully this will be it. But if we get another one, some of these guys could run out of gas.
You know what happened on the last restart? Mr. Restart, Ron Hornaday, was able to push Johnny Sauter to the lead. Now, Jason White is going to have a very fast truck, is going to have Ron behind him. Johnny Sauter has John King. John doesn't really do this a lot.
Second attempt at a green-white checker. Green flag back in the air on the inside. Johnny Sauter on the outside. Jason White. Side by side as they go to one.
See if Ron can get there.
Ron's needing to push right now for himself from Brendan Gaughan.
Which line will go? The inside line. They've been hugging the yellow line all race long. Johnny Sauter now has the preferred position. Right behind him, John King has never run a Truck Series race at Daytona. He's running second now with under 2 laps of racing to go.
Remember, James Busher said the leader is going to be a sitting duck. Will they get back to the start-finish line?
And will John King have enough experience to know how to get by Johnny Sauter if he has that opportunity? 3 wide coming through turn number 4.
Hornaday just didn't get a start that time, Phil.
Sure didn't.
He's fallen all the way back outside the top 10.
Oh, and around goes Johnny Sauter. John King got in the back of him, and Sauter goes into the wall. He'll collect his teammate, Matt Crafton, as they come to the start-finish line. We will have another restart. They did not receive the white flag before Sauter got around and into the wall.
Depends on when the white flag got thrown.
Displayed, we see hard damage on the 81 of David Starr.
John King.
Brendan Gaughan's South Point Chevrolet with a tremendous amount of damage.
John King, Todd Bodine, Timothy Peters, Joey Coulter, Justin Lofton. They're your top 5. Look at your race leader. Obviously frustrated, had a chance to win here at Daytona.
I talked about,
you said it, he doesn't do this a lot, hasn't been here before.
We talked about when he was going to push Jason White. You know, you got to be worried about John King.
Yellow did come out before the white. Look at the damage to the 82. That's Grant Enfinger. He has smoke coming out from under that truck. Take another look.
Will NASCAR do anything with John King?
Was Todd Bodine pushing John King and push him into Johnny Sauter?
Was Johnny Sauter moving up to try to block John King? Who knows what all happened there?
Look at all the trucks that got collected.
It looked like John King was going to the outside of Johnny. No, he just got a hose back in from the wrong angle.
Yeah.
And turned him sideways. Todd had rooted his way down to the bottom of the racetrack, and there's two Thor Sport trucks clobbering each other. The last thing a owner wants to see is his trucks running into each other.
A lot of damage, a lot of parked trucks right at the exit of the trioval. NASCAR is going to red flag the race. That means they're going to take the time, stop all of the trucks just out of turn number 4, and clean this up. A lot of trucks involved in this most recent incident.
And how about Todd Bodine emerges with the lead?
And look who slipped through another one. Ty Dillon. He makes another great move down on the bottom of the racetrack to miss all that mess.
Attrition becoming a big factor in the possibility of winning this race.
He just made a mistake from the back side of Johnny Sauter and turned him around. Inexperience, just
turned us.
Take a look at our flag person up here. The white flag and then the yellow came out. They did not come to the start-finish line to receive the white flag. The yellow came out before.
That's some pretty fancy flagging there.
Very quick.
It was.
Had the white one going, but had to get the yellow one out instead.
I'm not sure. There might have been a little bit of contact from behind from the 11 of Todd Bodine into John King.
Yeah, I think you're right, Phil. It looked as though Todd Bodine maybe gave John King a little shove. He then moved up and really didn't know what to do. I'm sure that was a situation where, do I hit the 13? Do I try to save this truck? And it happened so quickly.
John King was out to the right side of Johnny Sauter. There wasn't really a whole lot of a reason to be there. You want to block that yellow line and stay low. But maybe Todd did get into the back of John.
One more attempt at a green-white checker. Red Horse Racing.
Have we got
currently
enough?
First, second, third.
Have we got enough gas, Rick?
That will be a big question. Can they go 2 more laps? We're about to get the answer to that question. The field making its way out of turn number 4. John King, Todd Bodine, 1 and 2. They make up the front row. Right behind John King, his teammate, Timothy Peters. He's won at this racetrack before. Can he make it? 2 wins. We're about to find out. The field 2 by 2 coming into the trioval. Green flag goes in the air. John King, Todd Bodine, side by side for the lead.
Great start by Peters. He gets the push to King that he needs. Now Todd needs Joey Coulter to get there and get on the back of his truck.
The top 2 have separated themselves on the bottom line. Falling back is the 11 of Todd Bodine. Now they're 3 wide back there for the 5th position. Down the backstretch they go, less than a lap and a half from Daytona.
John King's doing a great job, as Terry Cook told him. Those left sides on the yellow line.
Along with Ty Dillon, he decides the outside line might be the way to go.
Look at Todd Bodine. He's coming back. He's got pushing from Joey Coulter, and they're making some ground.
Now moving off of the bottom of the racetrack as they come into the trioval.
Stay on the yellow line. They're trying to make something happen up top here. Stay on the yellow line.
Jason White, and around they go. That will bring the caution out as Joey Coulter goes flying into the catch fence just past the start-finish line, and that will mean John King will win at Daytona. The caution came out just as the pack made it past the start-finish line.
Maybe the least experienced driver we had in the field.
John, pass them. John, pass them. Slowly, gently pass them. Pass them, pass them, pass them, pass them, pass them. There you go. There you go. Slow it down now. Slow it.
What happened there? I guess John reduced his speed and some of the field didn't.
The caution came out. John obviously got out of the gas right away. And so you just heard his spotter, Terry Cook, telling him, okay, go ahead. You can pass him. Just pass him. You're in front.
We haven't heard from John King yet. I think he's still torn up about that.
Man love.
There it is.
Or maybe he just can't talk.
That's John. Will it be sinking in yet? Now we're looking at the 22. Joey Coulter again up into the catch fence right in front of the grandstands. John King wins his first ever Camping World Truck Series race in just his 8th start. He becomes the 3rd driver to score his first career win at Daytona, and this is how it happened as far as the caution coming out. Look back in the middle there, the 22 of Joey Coulter.
A little bit of contact with the 31 of James Busher. Gets up into the catch fence, and man, does that catch fence do its job.
And of course, Ty Dillon slipped right through again. See Ty there in the truck with the bright neon orange, just slips right through. I'm just glad Coulter's okay. That was wild looking. See the way it ripped that back of that truck apart?
Well, it sure did. And the front.
James Busher in the 31 got into the back of that 22.
Watch this.
Well, look at that ride, will you? Is that Hornaday going underneath Joey Coulter?
Hornaday underneath the 22 of Joey Coulter.
Watch this from Ron Hornaday's onboard.
Okay, we got one ahead. I don't know.
Right underneath him. Right underneath him.
Underneath. How about Todd Bodine's view?
Did Ron Hornaday get in the back of James Busher and turn him sideways into the 22 of Joey Coulter?
Definitely somebody turned. Watch the 31 get turned.
29's with you now. White flag, middle at 3. Crashing ahead of you. Stay down. Get down. Come on. Joey's upside down.
I don't know if he just got in the speedy drive up there, Phil, or if maybe Ron got in the back of him. But there goes Coulter walking away.
Unbelievable. And the bow to the crowd. We have seen 2 amazing hits tonight, and both drivers walked into the ambulance. Now let's go to Hermie.